Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started, we'll need to get through our obligatory risk disclosure. Just want to remind everyone that the content is being published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company and partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so now that I've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention. Hey, Simon, how are you? Good morning, Faye. We're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the news portal. All right, so we're going to do just that. Good morning, Aslan. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up the news portal. Take a look, see what news we have today that could impact the markets. So let's see here. Just kind of pausing here to make sure that's displayed to everyone. Yes, Simon, I will. I will once we get off. I will post last night's session. All right. Morning, Dirk. So, what do we have in the way of news today that could impact the markets? Well, we have JOLTS, job openings, consumer confidence are probably the main news events that could potentially impact the markets. We have the Shiller report. We have this Chicago PMI Shiller report coming in at in about 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes or so. We have the Chicago PMI coming in at 9:45, and then we have the JOLTS, the job openings, the consumer confidence, 10 a.m. That could have an impact on the markets. Okay, we have a number of Fed members as well as president's events where he will speak. So we have Fed member Logan, I guess, has spoken earlier this morning. Later this morning, we have Fed member Goolsbee. We have Fed member Logan, but that's going to be away from the markets. We have the potential event of the U.S. government shutting down because they can't agree on a budget. That's kind of looming over above us here as well. And then we have Nike here reporting here after the session. So I would say relatively light in the way of news. Obviously, the government shutdown is obviously going to have a significant impact on the markets. I would say that the JOLTS as well as the consumer confidence probably is the main event here. So around 10 a.m. Eastern time is probably a time we probably want to sit on the sidelines and wait for that report to come out before we initiate any new positions there. Okay, or here. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at. We're now going to turn our attention to the charts here. Just going to get my platform up and running here a little bit, and then we'll get going. All right. So okay. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and shut this down here. We're going to turn our attention to the news portal here. All right. Not news, but we're going to turn into our platform, training platform. Okay, we're going to focus our attention on. We're going to not going to start with the equities here. We're going to go ahead and start with the gold here. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the gold. So we'll change over to the gold market. All right, and take a look and see what the gold has been able to do of late. We're going to start off with the daily chart. Okay, so it looks like we're getting a little bit of rejection here up at the highs. In an otherwise market that's been bullish. Okay, so a little bit of rejection up here at the highs. Obviously, we had kind of, let's see, did we touch on? No, there's really no no clear other than this level here. I mean, I could potentially, I think it would be look a little bit better. What I was kind of debating on is whether or not to do a Fibonacci extension on any of these swings. I don't see really a clear one, so we're going to wait to see. Maybe we can do this on the 4 hour. Maybe it'll give us some sense of what where we're at and potential reaction away from it. So, but nonetheless, on the daily, I would say that we continue to be in an uptrend. We are seeing some signs, I guess, of sellers have kind of stepped in. We had a very strong volume delta bar here, okay, yesterday, right? Very strong volume delta bar. Looks like we got up to 33,000 more, 36,000 more buy market orders than sell orders. Okay, now today stands to reason that maybe some sellers could potentially step into this market, and they have to some degree. We have about 5,000 more sell market orders than buy market orders at the moment. Okay, all right. So let's take a look here at the 4 hour chart and see what we can kind of glean from the markets here. So a little bit ominous here. I don't know necessarily what caused this to take place here, but we were on a very nice. We were kind of cruising to the upside. And then this happened. I don't know if this was news driven, but this is very ominous. Obviously, candle that wiped out a number of hopeful buyers here, right? So, or people that were in positions on the long side. Okay. So the question now becomes is how do we react? Does this serve as some sort of area of resistance? We came up at this 3,900 level, okay, 3,900 level, and it's so far been rejected to some degree. Okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll have to see. We're going to go see if I can see where this Fibonacci extension level landed here. So we're going to go ahead and extend. We're going to extend this line up here down to this line. Okay, so you can see that we got to the 61.8% extension with leaving 39.33 kind of untouched here. Okay. So another area of interest, I guess, would be how well we react away from this level. Okay, this level was the next logical area where we were, what was resistant can potentially be supportive here, right? So this 38.22, 38.20 level, it would be interesting to see how we react. So far, has been reaction has been positive, but now that opens the door, right? That opens the door until we make a new high. That maybe that sellers can continue to step into this market and keep the market in range, or potentially cause the market to move lower. Okay, so this area now becomes kind of an area to be, I guess, concerned about, right? Because this is such an ominous candle to the downside. Expectation now is that any sort of pullback that we get here is going to be met with some more selling. Okay, so that's something to be aware of. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open up my VWAP here. And we'll move on to the 30-minute chart here. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart, here we are. Price is now below VWAP. Obviously, if we are going to embrace whatever shorts that maybe that have kind of stepped into this market, VWAP serves as a logical location for continuation move to the downside. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, that would be a logical place for a continuation move. Now, where could this, if we are going to go to the short side, well, it's hard to imagine with the strength that gold has been and of late to even think about that. But certainly this area down below here at around 3,800, okay, doesn't seem out of the realm of possibilities now that we've kind of crossed below VWAP, and I'm assuming that we're below our EMA as well. Okay, so we're below our EMA as well. So again, giving us some indication that maybe we do continue here. Okay. So again, let's take a look at say our fixed range volume profile. We might be in a little bit of a mixed environment here now that we've had a nice push higher, followed by a nice push lower. So we might be basically back to the middle. I'm not sure. Let's see. That seems a little bit tight here. Let's see. Did I start at the right place? Yeah. And yeah. Okay. So looking at this, relatively a narrow value range. Okay. In this market, I'm just kind of double confirming. Yeah. Relatively narrow value range, so we're below it. Okay, so this area right here could be an area where we maybe serves as maybe a continuation move here to the downside. All right, if we rotate through value, well, then we have VWAP here as an opportunity here. Okay, so the areas that I'm going to be kind of maybe focused on, if I'm thinking bearish, it's hard to imagine again thinking bearish, but if I am, all right, so taking this swing here and moving that down here, well, any of the 50%, if this is going to be an aggressive move to the downside, this area here that I mentioned around value area low could offer us maybe a location for them to participate to the downside. Then we have the 50% and the 61.8% retracement levels at 38.60 and 38.70 respectively. Those could also be some areas. If we are going to continue lower, those would be some logical areas for that to potentially take place. All right, so let's take a look at the initial balance here. I don't understand why I don't have. Oh, I do have it here. Okay. We're going to go ahead and kind of traverse through the various sessions and see what the sessions were able to do with this. It seems like Tokyo, maybe our Asia, offered us a nice little extension here to the downside late. Okay. Initially offered us a bullish opportunity, okay, to the upside. But then right around the, I guess, the open of the of London, it reversed and we sold off, right? So let's take a look at not the Asia session, but the London session. Seems like we have a number of sellers in this market. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. So again, real nice extension. I'm going to remove some of my drawings here. Real nice extension to the downside. We got a nice cross of the 9 EMA crossing the VWAP, and that offered us a real nice extension to the 200% extension level. Okay. Again, London offering us a very nice opportunity here. Now we've opened up the US session. The question now becomes, are these areas above us, are they going to serve as some sort of area of resistance for continuation move to the downside? We've already talked about VWAP. We've already talked about, I don't think we've talked about this yet, but we will. London's IB low could offer us maybe a location. Yes, both reach the 200% extension, okay, in opposite directions, okay? So it'll be interesting for me to see how price reacts away or on the VWAP here around 38.60. I would say I would mark that level on my charts as maybe a possible area, maybe for a possibility of a continuation move to the downside. Otherwise, I would expect that we would probably revisit some of the highs here. Okay. Yeah, you and me both, Aslan. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at ADR. It looks like ADR, we've already exceeded to the downside. Okay. So our average daily range has already been exceeded to the downside. So the question now becomes, do we have the participants to continue to drive price lower? I would say that they probably need to pick up some more participants, and the way they're going to pick up some more participants is by moving price higher. So this area right here is probably going to be an area that I'm going to be watching. Okay, so like I said, higher time frame, I guess, still remains bullish. We are seeing some signs here up at the highs. So I would say until we can get above and maybe closer to the highs, maybe even potentially break the highs, that we are in maybe potential range to bearish kind of structure here at the moment in this market. We had a solid swing here to the downside. I'm going to open up my visible range volume profile here over here to the right. Okay, so right now we're kind of in the middle of the muck, right around point of control here. Okay, so again, would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if we came back to this level and potentially reversed away from this area and potentially stayed in this range. Okay, that would not be out of the realm of possibility here. Okay, all right. So again, neutral. I would say neutral to I guess bearish. I guess until I can get my price above VWAP, then I can potentially change my view here, maybe for rotation back to the upside in this market. So right now, even though I'm getting a price even potentially to close above this 9 EMA, I'm seeing the 9 EMA kind of curl here a little bit. I still feel like I'm still at the mercy of maybe some sellers potentially stepping into this market. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the crude oil. Crude oil has been obviously bearish of late. I did take an opportunity yesterday on the bearish side, and it doesn't look like that view has changed all that much. We've even, if anything, we've kind of accelerated to the downside here. Okay, so we had a very strong candle to the downside. We're going to go ahead and remove our ADR levels here for the moment. But again, we are in kind of a larger range here. We haven't, so this is going to be the maybe looks like the fifth or sixth attempt at retesting 62. Okay, 62, 66 is the range that we've been in. Now we're looking to see maybe we can retest the lows of this market. Again, a market that's been in some sort of range. You can see that we have been in some sort of overlapping candles, right? A 9 EMA and the VWAP really haven't offered, at least on the higher time frame, not offered us much in the way of a direction here. Okay, so let's take a look at the 4R. Looking at the 4R, you can see again that we do appear to be in some sort of bearish structure here to the downside. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my initial balance here for a moment, just so that I'm clear about what I'm seeing. And you can see here that, we've broken some structure here to the downside, starting with London again. London also, again, offered us a nice opportunity here. I need to stay up a little bit, I think. Offered us a nice opportunity here to the downside in crude oil. All right. We were kind of grinding to the upside. Seller stepped in. We got a bearish engulfing candle, and down we go. All right. So let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. So 4-hour chart, bearish. 30-minute chart, I would say equally as bearish, only more candles. All right. So again, we had nice kind of staircase, lower lows, lower highs. Yes, London loves. I don't know if it loves it. I don't know if it loves it, but certainly price moves during London. Okay, so again, we've come to an area here around 62 that has been supportive in the past. Okay, so while we are in some sort of bearish structure, we have to remain cognizant of the fact that we are coming into an area of demand here around 62. Now, given the fact of the close proximity we are to 62, would not be out of the realm of possibility here, right? Given the proximity of price, that we maybe make one more, kind of leg to the downside before we see any sort of reversal in price. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing here. We're going to go ahead and maybe take a quick look at the fixed range volume profile from yesterday, and I would say that we're probably in some sort of auction, I would say, to the downside. So we'll locate the start of this and drag that across to the close, and there you have it. Okay, so a lot of participants willing to pay a premium to participate here to the downside. Okay, we are again coming into a level that could cause market to reverse, but honestly, in order for me to embrace the longs, we need to start to break some structure here to the upside. Okay, right now we seem to be in market structure that could be a tandem with Brent market, correct business hours closer to London time too. Yeah, that's possible. That's possible. All right. So again, let's take a look at the initial balance ranges across the various markets. Again, this is London. Okay, London on crude oil has been down, right? We got a nice extension to the 50%, actually 100% extension in London. We take a look at Asia here. All right, so Asia also maybe a little bit more range. Yeah, real tight range in Asia. We were range bound for the most part until we got to London, and then the sellers kind of stepped into this market. Okay, so a little bit of range, maybe a little bit of extension here. Very tight range got us to the what was that? 100% extension to the upside before we found some sellers. Okay, so again, I think headed into the market, I think the path of least resistance, I think, remains to the downside. I would say that we probably need to continue to look for areas of strength, so that we could potentially continue look for continuation trade to the downside. I feel like there's probably at least one more leg to the downside to maybe get us down to maybe 61, 61.50, 61.60. before we see any sort of significant move, maybe back higher. Okay. So right now, headed into the market, I would say that I remain somewhat bearish in the crude oil. Okay. All right. So before I turn my attention to the Nasdaq and the other equity markets, I'm going to put on my my little marketing hat and encourage people who have not hit the like button yet, who are not current subscribers, to smash the like button, to smash the subscribe button, to leave me a comment or two on the portal here, indicating to the world on how this analysis is supporting your efforts here in analyzing the markets. Okay. If we also have a little super chat, so if you want to leave a little gift there as well, that would be always welcome to see. So yeah, I think that's managed to get a few people here to hit the likes. Excellent. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the equity markets, because I know that's everybody's favorite market here. So we'll take a look at the equities. So we'll start off with the daily chart. The daily chart again continues to have trouble issues in getting above this this 25,000 level. That continues to be an area of some resistance. It feels like that we are maybe going to coil around this level here for a bit before we make. Seems like we're in the beginnings of some sort of triangle consolidation pattern here in this market, in a market that has been, I guess, somewhat bullish. All right, but I guess are finding, maybe they're finding some sellers here up at the highs here, especially around 25,000. Okay, so we are getting again. We do remain above our 9 EMA, so that gives us kind of a little bit of hope that there's maybe some continued upside opportunities in this market. But I would say that this 25,000 level is probably not going to be a level that's just going to kind of give in to this buying, right? I think there's probably not only sellers, but also maybe some option traders as well, who have maybe short on America. Okay, up here at around 25,000. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart and see what the 4-hour chart has to say. Again, you can see that we are in some sort of range in this market. All right, again, we're starting to see maybe that we are kind of overlapping in price. 25,000 to the upside, say 24,400 to the downside seems to be the kind of range that we're in. We're seeing that price is kind of navigating its way above and below our 9 EMAs. We'll take a look at maybe a closer look here at the 30-minute chart to see if it offers us maybe a better view of the direction that they want to take this market. But right now, we seem to be in some sort of consolidation range. Of late, you can see here, as of Thursday, we've been on some sort of uptrend until we found some sellers here. Okay, I managed to create a bearish engulfing candle, and we have not. Okay, we've created kind of a little bit of a supply zone here. Okay, some area here that has not been able to kind of enter without finding some sellers here. So the more we stay here without making a new high, the greater the likelihood that we have the possibility of selling off further. Right, the more we cannot find participants that will help drive price higher, the greater the likelihood that we could see price continue to the downside. Okay, let's take a look here at the 30-minute chart. Okay, just kind of zooming in on some of this. Okay, so here you are. There's that supply zone that I was talking about here. We're going to go ahead and color that in red, indicating that that seems to be an area of some sort of resistance to price. Every time we've come to it, at least once, twice, a third time, we've kind of reacted away from it, but we haven't, continued, right? It has not been sustained. Okay, so the question now becomes, is it going to continue, or is this going to be maybe an area where the price begins to maybe head higher? If we're going to head higher, we need to break some of this structure here to the upside. Of late, looks like we have broken some structure here to the upside, but have not managed to close above this 24,850 level without finding some sellers. Okay, so let's see. Let's start off with a fixed range volume profile here, and let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the start of the session here into the close. and you can see that we are inside some sort of range. Well, you can see all. I didn't need to necessarily draw this, right, to say that, but here we are, right? We have a lot of overlapping price action. Notice how where price is moving above and below VWAP, but it's not offering us much in the way of direction. Okay, definition: we are in some sort of range, right? When you see price traverse above and below our 9 EMA as well as our VWAP in both directions, then that's an indication that we are in some sort of ranging environment, right? So if we are in range, we need to focus our attention on the extremes of the range. We need to stay away from the middle of the range. That's where combines go to die, right? We don't want to be in the middle of these ranges because there's no direction. There's no direction in these trades. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the initial balance. I want to see what direction the markets were able to take this. This is Asia. Asia managed to drive price lower. Okay, we got to the 100% extension of this initial balance range before we reversed, and then London did the exact what appears to be has done the exact opposite here. All right, looking at London, looks like it's driven price higher. Right, so Asia lower, London up. Okay, so if we want to use London as a guide, well, we have price above our 9 EMA, above our VWAP. As long as price remains above, say, 24,819.25, then maybe we have a possibility for price to extend. I'm a little guarded here because we are coming into an area of some prior resistance to price. Okay, so the question now becomes: is it going to be able to get above 24,850? If not, then I think the path of least resistance at least feels like it wants to continue to the downside. Okay. A little bit of a mixed bag though, right? A little bit of a mixed bag. Asia was lower, London is higher. What is the US going to do with this? Okay. That's the question that we all want to answer for ourselves. I would say that we are still, I think, technically in some if we cannot get above 24,850, I think there's still opportunity, I would say, to the downside. It'll be interesting to see if price remains above. Yeah, not a very good risk reward opportunities in the NASDAQ overnight for sure. Okay. So as long as we remain above the initial balance high from London, you have to feel like maybe there's an opportunity maybe for further price action to the upside. If price begins to close back inside the initial balance range, that opens the door for price to kind of traverse through the range. Okay. So that opens up the that opportunity. Okay. Let's see if I can find my arrow here. Where did I do my arrow? There it is. Okay, yeah. So if price does close back in here, maybe it rotates all the way to the bottom of the value here. Okay, bottom of this initial balance range from London. So very important area that we're in right now in the Nasdaq. In my humble opinion, does price remain above this 24,820 level? Okay, if it can, then maybe it creates an opportunity that we head higher. If price starts to close back inside, then maybe we rotate through the range to the opposite end of the initial balance range for London. Yes, very much chop suey. All right, let's take a look at the ES market before we look at the Dow, and then take one final peek at the markets here. So again, another inside candle, again, contributing to the idea that maybe we are in some sort of range. If you're not convinced yet, look at the developing candle that we're getting right now. Very neutral kind of high wave candle that we're seeing. Okay, inside a range, right? So on the high end, 67.60, on the low end, 66.40, right? So it seems like we're developing a little bit of a beginnings of a triangle pattern of some sort. Yes, time to be the lazy lion. Correct, Michael. Exactly. We want to be the lazy lion. We want to wait price. We want to wait for price to come to a level and then react. This is not a middle of the range. Is not an area we want to be aggressive. A lazy lion would not be aggressive in this area because the chances of him to score a three-legged antelope are slim. Okay. So let's go ahead and move into the Great timing for that analogy there, Michael. Appreciate you contributing to the discussion here. All right, but yes, we need to be much patient with this market, given the fact that we are in the middle of a range. All right, let's remove some of our drawings here. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart here. 4-hour chart again, also indicating some sort of range here. It's just a little bit more prominent to me here. So this is the high end of the range. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can draw some sort of pattern here. I'm seeing, okay, there's one pattern here. So I don't know about you, but that's kind of how I feel, right? So if we want to fade the upper end of the line, go for it. Okay. If we want to buy the lower end of the line, go for it. But that's the expectation is that's kind of the range that we're in, right? So if you're nimble, okay, and you're in and out of positions, then more power to you. That's takes on far too much capital, in my humble opinion, mental capital, maybe both mental and real capital to participate in these kinds of ranges. Okay, but it can be done. Right. So again, as price kind of hovers around the upper end of the range, I'm kind of a little bit inclined to kind of take the market lower. If we manage to break above, say 67.30, then maybe we might be in the beginnings of an upside move in this market. But until that happens, I'm not going to anticipate it. Right. As long as we remain in this consolidation range, as Michael is suggesting, I'm going to be the lazy lion. Okay. I'm just going to hang out, wait for participants, wait for the antelopes to come to my watering hole, and then I react. Okay. All right. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart, we're going to take a peek here at the fixed range volume profile, just get a sense for where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. And looking at this, you can see that we are similar to the NASDAQ. We are in range. Now, what's interesting is that buyers, right, did not let the sellers really close below this level, right? Every time we've closed below this level, it's been met with some buying. So is this maybe a potential accumulation phase going on here? We still have 67.15 above us to contend with. Okay, while we are seeing price beginning to maybe close above our 9 and our VWAP, we still 67.15, 67.20 are still areas where we have not broken above, right? So ideally, we'd like to see, if we are bullish on this market, that we'd like to see price get above this level, okay, and then hold with volume and head higher. But you can see that's going to run us right into this consolidation pattern. So again, a lot of counter information going on in this market. Okay, so let's take a look at the initial balance to see what the Asia and London session were able to do with this market. London looks like was not able to do much of anything so far. Asia did manage to take it lower, but we're not able to get to the 200% extension. They got to the 100% extension and stalled. Okay, London, let's see. Take a look at London. London looked like it was a bit rangy. Okay, if anything, we did extend to the upside. We got to close to the upside, and then we immediately get a candle to close right back inside the initial balance range. Is that an indication of maybe a potential failed auction to the downside? Okay, I'm a little leery. Given all these buying wicks. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of buying wicks. Maybe if on a lower time frame, this might even be construed as maybe a little bit of a double bottom kind of forming here in this market. We're going to open up the 15-minute. So you see, get maybe a little bit of a bottoming pattern that's developing here. So I would say that as long as we remain above the 9 EMA, above the VWAP, then maybe that we do have a potential maybe for an extension here to the upside. Okay, I'd like to see, if I'm a bull, obviously, to get above 67.10. Right, if I can get above 67.10, that opens the door to 67.20. Right. Otherwise, if we can't break above, then again, we're going to go lower and see if we can find some more buyers here down at 6,700. So again, difficult market to read right now. We have sellers still in the market on Asia. London tried to take it higher. For now, has kind of failed, I would say. But I see conflicting things online. Gold, yeah. So Simon, technically the initial balance range for gold is 820 to 920. That is the official open, right? 820 is the official open of gold. Crude oil officially opens at 9 a.m. Okay, so the initial balance range is official. Now, what I have found is that, especially for those who are interested in this opening range breakout trade, there's often a lot of news events, right, on gold at the 8:30 hour, right? Yes, 10 minutes prior, that 8:30 range is the open for the gold market. Okay, that's the official pit session. All right. So if you wanted to create your range from 820 to 920, then yeah, you'll be more aligned with the market, I would say, initial balance range. But I have found that the difference between using that 820 to 920 or 830 to 930 really does not make all that much of a difference. Okay. All right. So yeah. So right now, as long as we remain above VWAP, above a -9 EMA, I guess I have to agree that maybe there's maybe an impulsive move to the upside in store here, in the ES. Okay. If we get closes below the 9 and the VWAP, maybe again it looks more and more continuation. Maybe move that's we're looking, but I'm a little bit cautious here given the strength of these two bullish candles that we received. But we could easily continue from here. Okay. If the banks used 820, that's what I would want you to use. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough, Faye. I think that would be excellent. I don't think you're going wrong by doing that. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Dow here, guys. And then we'll just make one final pass of the markets. But I think anything that you guys do with respect to this initial balance range, you want to be obviously consistent with it. So if you want to go with 820 to 920 for gold, again, that's fine. You just need to be consistent with it. All right. You don't want to change it. I just find it a little bit natural to look at 15-minute windows versus 10-minute windows. It's kind of an odd time frame for me. But Asia and London, all 9 p.m., 4 a.m. Eastern for all markets, isn't it? Yeah. London for me, London opens up at 3 a. Is that 3 a.m.? Is it 12? 1, 2. Let's see, 12. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think it opens up Eastern, 3 a.m. Eastern. Okay. Right. Yeah. I think for our purposes, trading off the 15-minute is not a bad thing. Looking at levels at like 830 versus 820, I think is probably overkill. Like I said, one of the reasons I look at 830, honestly, is I got myself into a trade prior to some sort of news event. Okay. And prior to actually getting my account funded, that was one event that actually caused me to blow up my account. Right. So as a result, I said, look, I don't need to have that 10 minutes. Let's wait for that news event to take place before I kind of entertain gold. So I don't know about that, Simon. So Asia opens up at 7 p.m. I believe 7 p.m. So gold market is 7 to 8 Eastern, and in Asia, right? And then we have in the London is 3 to 4 a.m. So it's a little bit different. So it's the same, right? It's all session based. All right. Okay. Let's move on here. So again, inside candle on the Dow indicating that we might be in some sort of range today. 4-hour chart also giving us the same kind of look and feel. We're going to turn off our initial balance here for a moment. So again, a lot of overlapping candles here of late. We had a nice strong bearish candle Again, we see that we might be in some sort of consolidation pattern, similar to what we talked about here, right? In other markets, this looks like a consolidation pattern, right? A little symmetrical triangle going on. Okay, Michael might be an authority on this, but I think the sessions themselves, okay, the sessions themselves, I play the sessions. Okay, I play the sessions. So when I look at an initial balance extension trade, I always look at the session to determine my initial balance range. Okay, for so Asia, I actually play the Tokyo session. So that's more like 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. initial balance. And then London, as I mentioned, is 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. So when I play the initial balance ranges, mine is session based. Okay. All right. So 4 hour, again, giving us some indication that's consolidating. 30-minute chart, also consolidating here. We're going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile to see where we're at in relation to the fixed range volume profile. Okay, so looking at this fixed range volume profile, let's see. We're going to start with Monday, drag that across to close. And again, similar to all the other equity markets, we're inside value, okay, inside balance. So again, indicating that, we probably shouldn't be super aggressive in this market until we get outside of this range, right? So I guess 46,600, I think, to the upside is kind of what we would be looking for. Are we getting some indication maybe that buyers have kind of stepped into this market? Yes, we have a sloping 9 EMA now to the upside. We have price kind of flirting with the possibility of closing above our VWAP, okay? But we have this 46,600 and above us, right? So could we get to the other side of this consolidation pattern? Certainly, 46,600 stands in the way of that happening. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how we manage to get through this, if we get through it at all. Okay. All right. Let's wanted to take a look at the initial balance ranges here a little bit here. All right, so this is London session here, initial balance session. Okay, London is kind of range bound. All right, it has actually tried to attempt to break above, did not manage to hold above. Now we're back at it again. Asia also, let's see, might be a little bit more bearish, but looking at Asia, okay, so we had a nice extension here to the downside. We've come to an area where sellers could potentially step into this market, right? It came into the low end of initial balance range and reacted away from it. Now, the question now becomes, do they have the participants to continue to drive price lower? Okay. Right. So again, so that's kind of, so it'll be interesting to see as the U.S. open sessions, as the session opens, whether we continue to see this attempt to head higher, okay, in this market, or whether we continue to the downside. Okay. Yeah, very strong move to the downside. Pretty much 200% extension of Asia to the downside. Really strong move here, and then it kind of grinded all the way down to this 200% level during London. All right. London, on the other hand, took that and said, you know what, we've come into an area of demand. I'm willing to kind of step in and maybe support this back higher. Okay. Thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate you. Yes, absolutely. Especially in the equity markets, we need to remain patient. We need to remain patient and wait for better levels. Be the lazy lion, okay, and wait for these levels. If I'm a seller, let it be around this 46,600 level until it proves me wrong. If I'm a buyer, let it be around the 46,470 level, okay? And let's avoid participating anywhere in the middles, okay? All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at one final look across all the markets here, guys. All right, so looking at across all the markets, gold, okay, on the 30-minute chart. I'm going to go ahead and move this over to the regular session here. Okay, so we have a relatively nice initial balance range. I say nice in the sense that it's not super wide, right? Not super wide. So giving me the sense that that we will find some participation, and that would help drive price in one direction. It would not be out of the realm of possibility that the U.S. session, that we undo a lot of the work that London was able to do with this market to the downside. But given this swing, I'm a little guarded, right? Until while we remain below VWAP, that it could offer us maybe a continuation opportunity here to the downside in this market. I'm a little wary of that. Okay. Yeah. So see, nice narrow. Yes, nice narrow range if you're a momentum initial balance trader, right? Because it's going to take less effort to extend the range, and that could kind of tip the hand of our participants on which direction they want to take the market. So right now, I would have to say until price gets above VWAP, that at least on the shorter time frame, that I'm probably a little bit bearish on the gold here at the moment, until we can get above these. Yeah, we did get a nice break of channel, right? We did get a nice break of channel to the upside, but we are below our VWAP, right? So Dirk, as long as we remain below our VWAP, my view and sentiment on this market remains to the short side. Okay, but yes, we did get a break of channel here to the upside, but we are, kind of fighting against some of the tide that's coming in toward us. Okay. This would be a good location if we wanted to go long. That would be an area, right? But yeah, it's definitely breaking to the downside at the moment. All right. Crude oil. Let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil seems to be a continued bearish structure here. As I mentioned, my belief was that we would come back down and retest 62, which we have, and looks like we found maybe some opportunities, maybe for beginnings of maybe a move to the upside. We have yet to break any structure, really any significant structure here to the upside. So I guess my view remains to the downside. Okay, until we break some structure to the upside, then my view continues. Right. So I'm going to follow this. Right. I'm going to follow this. If I'm looking for a reversal opportunity, well, I need to see price begin to break my initial balance range here to the upside, and also break my channel here to the upside before I'm willing to entertain it. All right. Across all the equity markets, I think the path here. So we just had the open of the market here. Right now, we seem to be in the lower end of the value range here. Looks like what it appears that maybe our first attempt is going to be in retest the conviction of some of these buyers below. Okay, in this market. So I would say that I'm probably neutral to right now. Looks like bearish to me. Okay. ES probably looking a lot very similar. Okay. Again, neutral to bearish, I would say, in the ES. And last but not least, the Dow looks maybe a little bit stronger to me. Okay. This looks more like maybe a little bit of a W pattern. The candle that we're developing is above the 90 MA and kind of working its way above the VWAP. So assuming that it can get above this 46,600 level, that could open up the door to get us back to the highs here around 46,750. Okay. But we need to remain above VWAP. So the Dow seems to be showing a little bit more strength than either the NASDAQ or the ES at this point. Okay. Yes. Crude could be definitely a widow maker. Correct. All right, guys. Well, I think that's pretty much it for me. We got through all the markets with only 2 minutes into the 2 minutes into the equity session. So again, if you have not hit the likes or subscribes, I encourage you to do so. If you want to follow Michael's path, that would be welcomed as well. Certainly, at minimum, hit the likes, hit the subscribes. And let everybody know how this analysis is supporting you and your ability to analyze the markets. Okay. You're welcome, Dirk. Okay. Have an excellent day trading today. And as we close every session, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent session today. Stay patient. Be the patient lion. Okay. Be the patient lion. Thank you, Aslan. Appreciate that. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk soon. Thank you, Aslan.